Hello everyone! Welcome back to my bedroom. We have my fairy lights on, so we have a nice aesthetic going. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some book recommendations slash reviews on books that I've read recently. I did a lot of reading recently. I don't know why. I read a lot of them over spring break and then some a bit after spring break too. Anyways, I'm just really excited about this video because I've been wanting to do it for a while, but I pushed it back a bit because I still had to finish one, and then when I finished it, it kind of destroyed me, so I had to take a step away from books for a hot minute. But I'm gonna leave that book to last because I have the most to say about that one. We're gonna start with Macarons at Midnight. This is a bit more of a kiddie book. It's written by Suzanne Nelson. I got this a while ago and I'm pretty sure I read it when I first got it, but when I read it recently I didn't remember it at all. It was like I never even read it, so maybe I didn't. Maybe I bought it a while ago and I just never read it. But this is probably more like tween age group, but it just depends on the person. Like, I enjoyed it and I'm 15, almost 16, so it really depends. There is the main character. Her name is Lise, and she goes to a costume party with her stepsister, but then she ends up leaving because she doesn't really know anyone there, and so she goes to this bakery and she meets this guy there. They share pastries, they have a grand time. But since she was wearing a mask because she was at a costume party like not that long ago, they don't know each other. They never exchanged names. He doesn't recognize her clearly because she's wearing a mask. And so the book is kind of her going on a quest to find her midnight macaron lover and what happens when she does find him. And the plot is, I mean, I guess it's a little bit cliche, but like it's been done a lot of times because it's good. That's what I think. The plot, once she actually finds her midnight lover, whatever you want to call it, remind me a little bit of Sierra Burgess is a Loser, if you've seen that movie. Although I think it was a lot better, because I don't really remember Sierra Burgess is a Loser a lot, but for some reason I feel like I remember it being worse than this. And this had like a cute ending, and it felt a little bit less like she was catfishing him. Like, she kind of was, but she also... Just read it and you'll find out yourself. And then there's also other drama with her friends and love triangles galore. There's just a lot of drama in this one, and I think it's good. The only critique I have about this is once they finally got their happy ending, the story was over. And I know it's called a happy ending for a reason, and a lot of like Disney Channel kind of movies did this. Like, they have the main characters be in a fight for the entire story and then they make up and then it's the end, and you're like, dang it, I kind of wanted to see what they would be like dating or see how it would be like a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? That's my only critique. But again, it's a very cliche book, so I feel like it makes sense that it ended that way. Next, the Selection series. This is by Kiera Cass. It's a series of 3 books. There are other ones. There's a 4th book and a 5th book and a 6th book. Although I don't really consider them, I haven't read them yet, but I don't consider it being a part of this storyline. Like, it still is, but it's not, because it's not the exact same characters and it's not about the journey of the main character in this book, America. So it's a bit different, but there is a 2nd and a 3rd book, a part of this trilogy. I don't have it right now though because I lent it to my Nana and she is currently reading them, but I will Photoshop the 2nd and the 3rd one in right now. Anyways, so there is the main character, America, and people all around, they get to apply to be a part of this competition type of thing, to date the prince and to become the next princess. That's their goal for the end of the competition. So 35 girls, they get accepted and they get to live in the palace and date the prince. And America, which is what the point of view is from, she is one of the girls that gets accepted. So we follow her journey of her living in the castle, see how her relationship with Prince Maxim blossoms, and you know, all that good stuff. My favorite from the trilogy, I can't really remember the second book for some reason. I remember this one because it was like the start of it, and I remember the third book because it was the end of it, but the second book kind of just like, I don't remember it. They're all just kind of blurring into one story. But I remember that the third book was my favorite. It had the most amount of plot twists, in my opinion. There were so many times where I was reading it and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe the author went there. Like, it was a lot, you know? I really love Prince Maxon. I think he's my favorite character. He is just so romantic and caring and always putting other people first. And that's what I love about him. I mean, I know he's a prince. I guess he's trained to do that. But there were so many instances where he just, like, went the extra mile for people when I feel like they wouldn't have done it back for him. So, yeah, I love Prince Maxon. Actually, when I finished this trilogy, I was so inspired and in love with the storyline that I actually wrote a poem. If you want to hear the poem, you can stay to the end of the video, maybe I'll share it. Critique-wise for this trilogy, there were so many times where the main character America and Prince Maxon got in fights over things that could have been prevented really easily. Again, I know that this had to happen to create a plot, otherwise we wouldn't have a story if those arguments didn't happen. But, like, there's just so many times where they were so ridiculous. Like, she would just, you know, like, someone would say something too late, or they'd, like, not say something right, you know what I mean? Like, just those little things where it just messes up everything. And I mean, everything works out in the end, but, you know, while I was reading it, I was a little bit pissed at America. Like, come on, girl, get it together. Anyways, overall, I really did love this series, though. I 100% recommend. This is probably teen, just so you know, teen. Next, we have, this is probably more tween, but again, depends. I enjoyed it, and maybe you will too. So this is called The Pages Between Us. This is the first book. I lost the cover to it. It probably looked similar to this, but I lost it. So it just looks like a very sophisticated Shakespeare book. I'm not reading Shakespeare, I'm actually reading a dumb drama about middle schoolers. And then this is the second one. So there are the two main characters, Piper and Olivia. I know, I'm in the book. And it's their first year of middle school, kind of, you know, experiencing all of these new things. Their main goal for the first book is that they're trying to join clubs to try to make new friends, because Piper's mom is letting her have a birthday party, and so she wants to have a really awesome birthday party. And so for this plan, they're like, okay, we're going to join a bunch of clubs and make a bunch of new friends. That is their goal for this book. And for this book, their goal is Battle of the Books. They do Battle of the Books, and, well, Olivia does Battle of the Books. Piper helps promote Battle of the Books because Battle of the Books is a lot less popular than it used to be, and so they have to work together to try and get Battle of the Books popular again. And so it's just, you know, some, like, classic little, you know, middle school, elementary school, whatever school problems, you know what I mean? And there's also other drama, you know, with friends and fights between the two main characters and boys, you know, all the good stuff. Something I really liked about it is the way how it genuinely seemed like it was written by middle schoolers. So the book is written from two different points of view, and from, you know, the two main characters, Piper and Olivia. And there were certain times where they would say something, like they'd be like, oh, whatever is looking extra good today. Why do I feel like this? And it was just like little instances where you're like, girl, you got a crush on him, but like, you clearly don't know it yet, you know? There were just like little moments like that I really liked. Another thing I really like is, I don't think I said at the beginning, but it's written by two authors, Lindsey Leavitt and Robin Mellom. So it's written by two people, and it goes between two points of view, and the authors are actually best friends, so I thought that was really cute. and cool. Only complaint-wise is the second book didn't really seem to end. I looked everywhere and there doesn't seem to be a third book to this, which is strange because the first book, the way how they ended it is they said we still have more pages left in our notebook because it's from the point of view of two girls and it's like they're writing letters to each other. That's basically what the entire book is. And so they said at the end, we still have some pages left in our notebook, means they're hinting at another book. And they ended it the same in the second book, so that led me to believe that there was going to be a third book, but I don't see anything about there being a third book, so I guess there's not. Things didn't really seem to wrap up though, so that's what I'm a little bit confused about. But yeah, it's just a fun series, I guess. Between two best friends and them writing letters to each other in notebooks. I don't know if I said, but they write letters to each other because they don't have any classes together except for Spanish, I believe. Don't think I said that at the beginning. I'm really bad at doing this. Next, this is called I Think I Love You by Auriane Desombre. I didn't pronounce that right, did I? Okay. So, I Think I Love You. It's a cute love story, an enemies to lovers love story. A women love women love story. It's between the two characters, Emma and Sophia. So, Emma, she's a hopeless romantic. She loves rom-coms, and she's just waiting for the day that she's going to get her epic love story rom-com situation. But then Sophia, she doesn't believe in love. She feels like love just always ends with someone getting hurt. She just doesn't think that it's possible for her or for anyone else. She thinks if someone else, like one of her friends, is in a relationship, she thinks they're stupid. All of that. So they have the classic contradicting beliefs, all of that good stuff for an enemies to lover situation. Basically, there's this like film competition where you get to submit short films, and it's to, I think it's to get into a college, or it's to prepare you to get into a college. And so they, you know, disagree on that. There's drama with their families, there's drama with their friend group, and, you know, I like the way how they describe it on the back here. It says, the movie is doomed before they even start shooting until a real-life plot twist unfolds behind the camera when Emma and Sophia begin seeing each other through a different lens. I like that. Through a different lens, because they're doing a film festival. I know. Really clever. This is also written from two different points of view. It switches between Sophia and Emma. The critiques, I feel like it switched a bit too, like, there wasn't a smooth enough transition from going from enemies to lovers. I feel like it's good when there's like certain moments where they're arguing, but you can also sense some sort of tension going on, you know what I mean? I guess there were kind of some of those moments, but I feel like there could have been more. I don't know, maybe I'm being picky. Or just, you know, like, I feel like it was just too much, like, I don't know how to explain it. I just feel like it was just 1 second they absolutely hated each other, and then the next second they were suddenly in love. And I mean, I guess that's how enemies to lovers works. I don't know. I just feel like it needed a bit of a smoother transition, if that makes sense. Anyways, this is, again, probably teen-wise, I guess. I don't think there's anything inappropriate, though, so if you're a tween, you could read this, too. Just, I'm a teen, so I would say it's for teens. Overall, I think it was cute. This is probably my least favorite one that I read. I felt like it was a bit harder to get into, but overall, I still think it ended up being good and having a cute ending. Finally, They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. This book absolutely destroyed me. Oh my god. I finished reading it last weekend, I believe, and the day I finished it, I cried so much. Oh my god. Okay, basically, the two main characters, Mateo and Rufus, they both find out that they have 24 hours left until they die. And so in this attempt to try and live their last 24 hours to the fullest, they both seem to download this app called Last Friend, and they end up meeting through there. And so we follow their last day together and their friendship and how it blossoms into something more. Love it when that happens. So yeah, this is probably more teen, because there are a few inappropriate references. I feel like there's some swear words in here. But again, I don't really know how mature tweens are these days. I probably wouldn't have read this when I was like 12, but you know, kids are more mature these days, so maybe you would. I don't know. It's kind of like a slow burn kind of trope situation, I guess you would describe it like that. We're gonna get into some things that I absolutely love. First of all, I think it was so creative. It switches between the 2 points of view of Mateo and Rufus, but there are also other points of view of multiple people in it. And some only get mentioned once, some people get mentioned multiple times, but every single character ties together somehow. Even if you don't realize it at the point you're reading their chapter, you'll soon realize later, you'll be like, oh my god, this character knew this character, or this character was passing by when this character was doing this. Like, there are so many, like, I think it's so creative, the author's attention to detail on just little things like that. Like, there's even literally a map at the back of the book, hang on, of how all the characters are connected. It gets complicated, y'all. But I love it. That's something that I felt made this book really stand out. Another thing I really loved was, again, attention to detail. Sometimes there are things or like places that they'll mention that you don't really understand how it's relevant, but then later on you'll find something else out and you'll be like, oh my god, those connect somehow, don't they? You know? That happened to me a couple times. I really love that. There's like, I don't know how to explain anything else without ruining it. I don't know. They do both die in the end. That's not a spoiler. It literally says it in the title. Did they die the way how I thought they were going to die? No. That's the part that was like a little bit, you know? But you'll find out what I'm talking about when you read it. I personally, critique-wise, I wish there were more romantic moments a bit earlier into the book. Once, like, things only started getting, like, you know, having some sort of situation once you were about, like, more than halfway through the book. Like, come on. Like, I was reading through this and I was like, am I sure this is a love story? Like, I'm not seeing anything happening. Like, there are certain moments where they'll, like, say something, but then there's also something sometimes where I'm like, is that being romantic, or are they just being a nice person, you know? Like, there were little moments, you know, where Rufus says he always likes to say Mateo's name because he really likes his name, and Mateo says that he really likes Rufus's eyes. I just wish there were a couple more moments like that that hinted at something that was going to happen, because, I mean, I knew it was going to happen because when you open this part, it tells you, but I just wish it happened a bit faster. Like, y'all are dying today. Like, can we hurry this up a little bit? I know it's meant to be a slow burn, but just saying. I also really loved their, well, I don't want to spoil anything. I don't think this is really a spoiler, because if it's a love story, I mean, like, y'all are bound to know that this is gonna happen. Their first kiss scene, that was adorable. Honestly, one of my favorites. Favorite scene from the book. I'm not gonna say anything else because I don't want to spoil anything, but just, it's a good scene. Once I got about more than halfway through, there was not a point where I wasn't crying. Like, they would say Mateo walks over to the other room and I would be like, oh my god. I was so emotional, man. I think it's because I know that they're both going to die, and they both know that they're going to die, and there's moments where they mention it when it's from their point of view, and you're just like, oh my god. And you're like so upset that everything's going to be gone, and it's just like, ugh, it's a lot, you know? But it's so worth it. Like, it's really emotional. I cried so much after I read it, and when I think about it, there are still moments where I get really upset. But it's 100% worth reading. Like, I loved their story and the relationship they had and just how they were there for each other. on their last day. Man, I'm getting sad right now. It was just a great story. I do resent Adam Silvera a little bit for how he ended it, though. That, broke me a little bit. You know, maybe he could write an alternative ending where they just, you know, they actually live and they just, you know, have a happy ending, maybe. That'd be nice. Oh, did I mention that this is a gay love story? I mean, their names are Mateo and Rufus, so I guess you could assume that, but I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. This, or the Selection series. This is one book and this is a series, but these are probably my favorite ones that I read, so I would 100% recommend these if you're looking for a book recommendation right now. However, the other ones are all very good as well. I'd still recommend that you read them, but these are like must-have reads, and those are like, yeah, like if you're looking for something to read, sure, you could read those, but like these are like, read now. I feel like, honestly, I feel like I could do an entire video on this book because there's just so much to say about it. If I did an entire video on it, though, it would probably include some spoilers. Let me know if you want that, though. Anyways, I said I would share my poems. I also wrote a poem about this one because I was so sad after I finished it. That was the only way that I could manage to express emotions, but I'm gonna share it with you. Our first poem, which is called The Selection. Can you guess which series it was written about? This probably includes some spoilers, so if you haven't read The Selection yet, and you are planning on reading it, you can just skip this part, okay? This is written from the point of view of Prince Maxon, so here we go, The Selection. You walk into the room, all eyes on you, wearing a lovely gown in royal blue. You hate attention, hate the monarchy, sometimes even pester you so much I think you hate me. I've never felt this feeling before, trying to fancy the other girls but liking you more. You may not see it, but you're my number one, we're even all of my firsts and we had so much fun. I look forward to our future and always being by your side, through the holidays, when family stays, when our baby will arrive. Looking back on it, I loved you from the moment you first entered the room. Flash forward, you're my bride and I'm your groom. As much as it cost me, I'll forever be grateful for the selection. So many times our love died before it was born, but still resurrection. You fought for what was right even when my dad put you through the ringer, and all in all, I truly love you, America singer. Damn! I'm an author! Wow! Next one is about They Both Die at the End. Again, if you haven't read it and you are planning on reading it, maybe skip this because this probably has some spoilers in it. I didn't put a title name for this, but you can just assume it's called They Both Die at the End. This is from the point of view of Mateo. That deafening alert, I can feel my heart sink. Just like that, my life is over in a blink. Don't lose hope now, Mateo, I can feel Dad say. I have to live what's left of my life before I fade away. I know damn well I can't do this alone, but then I see an opportunity reaching out for my phone. The last friend was just what I needed, and I'm so glad I didn't give up and delete it. Rufus was a wonderful person, getting me out in the world, make a moment, Lydia's house, and Clint's graveyard where we twirled. I'll always appreciate what he did, even if we only had one day together because the old Mateo hid. I could never forget this, even if I tried, and because of him, my end day is when I felt truly alive. That's a line from the book, I'm pretty sure. My end day is when I felt truly alive. I loved that line so much. It's kind of like, what's it called? An oxymoron, where you go from like one extreme to the other. I think that's what it is. I'm not an English teacher. I do write poems, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, tell me what you think about my poems if you were able to stay to listen to them, because I know some people, they probably want to read it and they don't want my spoilers, but once you do read them, come back to this video and listen to my poem. Because maybe you'll appreciate the books a little bit more. I don't know. I mean, not to toot my own horn, but like, whatever. Anyways, those are the books I've read recently. Sorry that was kind of a long video, but I was really excited about it. So, yeah. Anyways, go read the books that I recommended. Come back to this video and tell me your opinions in the comments because I want to know. That is all. Peace out.